Hi, my name is Martina Bex, and I am the founder of the Comprehensible Classroom, and I've been getting such good feedback about these short little activity videos I've been doing, so I'm bringing you another one today. Today, I'm going to talk about shrinking summaries, and shrinking summaries are an activity that are frequently used in English language arts classes, and they're an activity that I used a lot in my Spanish class as well. Basically, what you're doing is students start with a text. It could be a story, it could be an informational text, anything. Usually they read it, maybe they read it together, maybe on their own, and then you tell them to write a summary of the text. And so they summarize it, and then you tell them to write a summary of their summary. So it's a really good way for them to read and reread and reread text, and we know that we acquire language when it comes into our heads through our eyes and through our ears. So we acquire language when we understand messages. So when students are reading passages that they understand and rereading them, it's not only supporting their understanding of the text, but it's also helping them to acquire language. So that's why it's a really good thing. I love shrinking summaries because to create a shrinking summary, students are often writing. I mean, they could do it orally, but usually it's written. They are writing, so there's output, but it's really just the illusion of output because they aren't creating original content. They're pulling from the text that they're reading. And one really simple activity that you can do to support students in doing this, especially for your early novice language learners, is by giving them a text, and instead of just saying write a summary where they might feel like they need to come up with their own statements, to synthesize the text and come up with their own statements about it, just tell them to pull out the top 10 most important sentences from the text. So say write a summary by pulling out 10 events or 10 sentences from the text, and that is going to be your summary. You could do it again by having them say, okay, by telling them, okay, pull out the 5 key events from this, so you could shrink it down. But one way that I really love to use this is to, instead of just stopping it there and having students create their summary or create their list of 10 events from the story, is to then go over that together as a class. So once all of your students have their list of 10 activities, it's a summary consisting of 10 sentences from the text that they just copied over. So it's not really writing, it's transcribing, which, by the way, is the presentational writing novice low sublevel of the ACTFL proficiency standards. So students copy over 10 sentences from the text to create their summary. Then you, the teacher, read the full text from beginning to end, sentence by sentence, and every time after you read a sentence, you have students indicate to you whether or not they included that sentence in their summary. And a great way to do this is to find some way to incorporate movement. Obviously, in the time of COVID, this is a little bit more tricky, but if you designate one side of your room as yes, I included it, and one side of the room as no, I didn't, then students can actually stand up and move from side to side. Perhaps your students are allowed to stand up or sit down, so stay sitting if it's a no, stand up if it's a yes. You could have their left hand be no and their right hand be yes. You could have students raise their hands using Zoom chat features. So in doing that, you have read through the text again a whole nother time. Students have heard you read it, and you could even take that opportunity to ask personalized questions and really help students to connect to the text as you go along. So really simple, shrinking summary. You're just trimming down a text to a summary and then summarizing the summary. A really easy way to support students in doing this is by having them copy down 10 sentences from the text, not trying to synthesize the material in there and come up with their own. And then you can go over it together for an additional exposure to the text. Hope you love it and try it out tomorrow.